This is a presentation on homeless veterans focused on female veterans, prepared for the sociology of homelessness by Ryan Luke at Northern Illinois University. Homelessness is an issue that has been around for years. Homelessness can range from domestic abuse, unaccompanied youth, all the way to the elderly. When it comes to veterans, everyone thinks that they are all set when they come back from providing their services to the country. Even though research has been completed in this field, I feel that there can be more research conducted and that more people can be more informed about the issues that our brave men and women face when they are out of service. It is for that reason that I am presenting findings on veterans. According to Hosek and Wadsworth in 2013, they determined that despite the amount of salary that service members received, some service members were living with the use of food stamps. Lastly, according to Hosek and Wadsworth in 2013 again, they pointed out that after service, women leave the forces and go back to a normal job, they are making less than what they deserve due to just simply being a woman. For this presentation, I am going to argue that housing situations are not being found for veterans in order to provide adequate living opportunities. Veterans that come back after their deployment do suffer from mental illness, but that is not the entire reason that they are living homeless. They have economic strain after they return from service. Even though they have served our country, they do not always get what they deserve. As previously stated, most servicemen and women take a pay cut when they return home and end their career serving the country. The first thing that I am going to discuss is the living situations that veterans face when they are homeless. According to Montgomery, Fargo, and Burns research in 2014, there was a total of 49,933 veterans that were homeless in the month of January. Of those veterans living homeless, a third of them were living in unsheltered situations. This is an occurrence because veterans do not receive the help that they need after they get back from serving their country. Veterans try to be strong once they get back, that they feel like they cannot reach out for more help. When they come back from serving their country, they often come back with a mental illness such as PTSD, for example. With that in mind, it is more difficult for service members to gain trust and open to people. There are also barriers when it comes to getting the help that they need. It is also seen that according to Washington et al. In 2011, they concluded and published their studies of homeless women veterans. They recruited homeless subjects between the years 2005 and 2006 using VA and non-VA contacts. Interviews were conducted with a total of 198 total homeless female veterans. The results of the study concluded that the median length of a female veteran living homeless was a total of 2.1 years. Going along with that, it is extremely difficult when a service member returns home to obtain adequate funds to support themselves. As previously stated in this presentation, according to Hosek and Wadsworth in 2013, they determined that despite the amount of salary that service members received, some service members were living with the use of food stamps. If service members are not making enough to provide for themselves, then how are they going to be able to get out of the situation that they are currently in? If service members got paid better, then after they return to civilian life, they would be able to support themselves. Also, according to Hosek and Wadsworth in 2013, they state that when a military spouse is away, their partner is going to have a hard time finding a job to earn income. Whether male or female, they both have high chances of being unemployed while their spouse is away serving on deployment. There are inadequate funds that are coming into the household, and with the way prices keep going up, if there is not enough income coming in, then they can fall behind on their payments. If they cannot afford where they are living, then they risk not having anywhere to stay after their spouse returns from their deployment. Another issue that causes homelessness for veterans is their re-entry into civilian life after they return from their service. According to Highgate in 2000, a small-scale study was completed with a total of 17 participants. This study focused on the rough sleeping that servicemen and women are used to while serving. The sample of the study was recruited to pinpoint the specificity of having to sleep rough at some point within the last 5 years of their discharge from the armed forces. When the study was completed, it was concluded that a number of servicemen and women will experience a hard time regaining their old ways and back into a normal civilian life. These men and women struggle to regain the normalcy that they once had before they went to serve. With the difficulties of re-entry into civilization leads these veterans to being homeless because they are used to living in rough sleeping conditions. With the difficulties presented, it leads to these servicemen and women turning to what they know best and trusting that they can survive in the rough conditions that they are used to. With all of these difficulties, what solutions can be presented to solve homelessness for veterans? According to Byrne, Montgomery, and Dieter in 2013, it was seen that the media's attention was drawn to the important challenge that the homeless female veterans were facing. With this, the VA has placed a big importance of getting homeless veterans' needs met by 2015 so that homelessness of veterans could be ended. The priority has been put in place to try and solve homelessness for veterans by 2015. More research is being completed to investigate this problem and come up with a solution in order to put an end to this problem. I believe that funds can be reallocated between all programs to meet the needs of all homeless populations. I also believe that more funds could be distributed in order to allow more resources so that service members can have an easier transition once they get back from their tour. If more resources were available once they returned home, the possibility of our veterans becoming homeless can be drastically reduced. With that, veterans can get jobs that they deserve so that they can stay afloat instead of sink. One last thing with the resources is that veterans that can come home with mental disabilities, they can receive the help that they need and can stay on their own 2 feet. If they receive the help that they need, they will not feel lost anymore and will be able to integrate back into society better.